Welcome to episode 14 of The Things I See. I am Clarity Ray, and today I am here with a very special guest. I have known her for quite a long time and have been able to see her psychic journey from what feels like it's very, very start. So why don't you introduce yourself?
You've definitely been here for most of it, so I'm happy to be here. My name's Ash, and ready to get started.
So it's also really cool to have Ash here because not only have I seen how it's progressed, but she's taking the steps to make it a bit more official. Mm-hmm. You know, especially with the psychic journey. It's always that thing of like, oh, am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Oh, am I crazy? Where just coming out and just existing through the lens of a psychic, it's a bit tough.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm super happy to have you on because you're in that stage where you are breaking the walls. You're doing all the exciting stuff. So yeah, how about we just start? I want to hear a bit about your journey. What got you started?
I've always had an interest in, the non-physical, seeing beyond the veil. Always felt like I had a connection to these sort of things, and I could, just see beyond more than what met the eye. And I don't know, just recently I left my job and I just wanted to go all in, and I actually was doing yoga at first because I was kind of afraid of actually being successful at this. But once I started seeing I can actually do this and started getting really great feedback from people, I was like, oh shit, maybe I have something here. And I'm kind of closing the book on yoga right now and going full force on psychic.
Awesome.
So
I didn't actually know that you were closing the book a bit on yoga, but that's a big step because I can tell when you got into it, it was like, I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Where it's approachable. People don't think it's weird.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I did it. I was like, well, I'm going to take a little bit of a practical approach because I could speak to being a yoga teacher, but I was like, how do I speak to being a psychic to people? And, without knowing that I could actually do it. So.
Right. There's never quite enough validation to justify doing it until you just do it. You have to be the thing that justifies it.
So true.
Yeah. And also, I just want to give a quick round of applause that you left that job. Woo! Because that job was not good for you. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
From the inside out.
Yeah. And just to catch the viewers up, you recently had something going on in this liver space around the adrenal gland, just a whole lot. And I've done energy work with Ash, and a lot of it felt like it was, the work was not only worsening it, but it was also keeping it from getting bad or from becoming an issue. So it was this weird thing where it became more of an issue when you stopped working, but work was also part of the reason it was developing.
I honestly got triggered so heavily from it right after I quit because I was just just coming off of the stress of everything and the stress of what's next, and boom, I was sick again. So
yeah. But sounds like you're doing better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good. Lots of liver work.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And taking care of her.
Yeah, her. What's her name?
I don't know.
Liva.
Liva queen.
Love you, Liva. Yeah. Super cool to see how you've progressed through it too, because you've been getting, of course, the physical help, but then also energy help, because, we store so much in the liver, because this is the organ where we store emotions for things that are out of our control. So it's it could be anything from, it's just everything. We store so much in the liver, and it can only process so much at a time.
Yeah. Put a lot of stress on it, even from that, and then alcohol. So
right. Oh God, I hate that. I love a good drink every now and then. Yeah. It's this weird thing where I almost feel like I've trained my liver to go through shit because of how I've emotionally ran it through. Right. Just the act of compressing and storing so much in the liver and the abdominal space below it, because we store a lot of attachment trauma, a lot of things that were out of our control. And I feel like now that I've gotten through a lot of that, my liver enjoys a bit of problems. It feels comfy having a bit of alcohol.
I love that.
Right.
I think at this point we're just like, take care of me.
Right.
But I still do drink occasionally.
Right. And that's the interesting thing is it's not, there's no need to fuck up the liver.
Yeah.
But we can give it a bit of strife. It feels like on one hand it keeps it active and working. But also alcohol still isn't good, yada yada. Not justifying alcohol use. I'm just saying, especially wine. I love a glass of wine. Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever looked into the energetics of drinking alcohol, like just on yourself, for example, or maybe in others?
Sort of. I actually recently tried to do some energy work because I was like really, really drunk the other night and I didn't want to be hungover. So I was like, I'm going to work on my energy and see if I can not be hungover the next day. And it actually worked.
Really? What did you do?
I honestly just like intuitively like pushed like the alcohol. Like I pulled whatever I felt like was like throughout my body. And I just was just imagining like flushing it out and just kept like, I don't know, just feeling anywhere it could be and just saying you're leaving my body or not, like just affirming like this is not going to make me sick tomorrow. And I was a little bit hungover, but for how drunk I was, like I was seeing the spins and like it was, I was like, I know I'm going to feel fucking terrible, but I was still like up and moving the next day. And so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stellar work.
Felt like doing it and then.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's crazy what our bodies are able to do with stuff like that, you know, where it's just moving stuff through. And it sounds like a lot of that may have not been the physical moving through, because you can definitely force your body to sweat stuff out or to like pee it out or something. But it sounds like you were able to move the energy.
Yeah.
When you were moving it, is there anything that energy felt like? That hungoverness, how you were collecting it?
I don't know. I just really let my hands do the work, to be honest. I just knew that like there's energy here that I didn't want, and I don't know.
Did it feel like it was in one place more than the other, or just moving it all through?
Probably more in my head.
In your head?
Say, yeah.
That's interesting, especially since you brought up like the spins.
Yeah.
It's interesting because sometimes I've gotten the spins. Sometimes I should have the spins and I don't. So I almost wonder how much of that is an energetic thing.
Oh, yeah.
That heat in the head, stuff like that. What's triggering all that heat? You know, there's blood flow and stuff like that alcohol affects. But yeah, one thing I love about the mind is how it can adjust blood flow too. So I almost wonder if some of that was some of that internal physical adjustment of how the blood flows. And like, you know, it doesn't, your mind doesn't marginally control blood flow, but you can like get the human body to stop bleeding. It's crazy. Like they'll use
powerful.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just really was like, I'm trying to get in the habit of just trusting my instincts. If I feel like I need to do something, I'm just going to trust and do it. So that's been kind of my biggest like
awesome.
You know?
Yeah, and trusting that.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the biggest ways I've stepped into my power is just understanding I can do it and then just doing it however it needs to be done. Exactly. Especially with energy work, there's so many different ways to do it. Yeah, especially with past life work. When you're healing people's wounds from past life work, each wound is different. You know, if they got shot with a bullet, there's a way to undo that. If they got blunt force trauma or like
the one that I had, my multi-layered curse.
Oh, goodness. We'll talk about that here very shortly. One of Ash's past life wounds we worked through was around the wrist. And this was just one layer of energetic issues she was having around her wrist, where there was this one past life wound. And this is the interesting thing. Past life wounds are not always death. Sometimes it's the conditions around the death or that led to it, or even after death, such as dismembering. If you were killed then dismembered, the wound is going to be the dismembering. And it's so weird. But she had this past life where she was put in a jail kind of scene, very dark dungeony. And she was chained down. No, not chained down. She was like chained up. She was hanging up from her wrists, which were tied together and bound. And it's that, you know, somatically, emotionally, that inability to control the things around you, which also has to do with that liver a bit, technically. But the lack of freedom is the big thing there. The bondage of the wrists, especially hung over the head. So to heal that wound, it wasn't undoing a death wound. It was undoing like this knot around your wrist. It was super weird.
Yeah. I can explain too that this was affecting my daily life so tremendously. Like, I literally felt like it was blocking my creativity. Like, when I would go to like try to write or draw, I just felt like my energy was completely blocked in my hands, and like I knew I had so much more potential in my body that I just couldn't get out for the life of me. And that's what led us here too.
Yeah. And it's always so cool because you can always find the wound first and then correlate it to the issue. But I think that was something that you knew was an issue. That you were like, what the hell am I supposed to do about this? And it kind of led us towards that path of like, let's figure that out. But that was just scratching the surface. I thought that was it too.
Yeah,
we thought,
we're done.
Done. That's all we have to do. Clear that past life wound. But, you know, that's like rarely ever the case in anything in the body. We compound stuff, especially when it comes to past life. The past life is just overlapping all of the in this life stuff, which is excessive. But after we did that, it also really exposed what was deeper. It almost made the issues seem worse. Yeah. I want to say. Yeah. Would you like to talk more about that curse? Also past life, by the way.
Yeah, apparently in my past life, I was a man that was like, I can't remember exactly what you told me, but
I think it was, let's see. It was
like
community, church leader. It was like a temple leader.
Okay.
So when I say church, it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was not like Christian at all. It was like more Mediterranean area. But you were the lead of a certain temple, like the father, the pastor, guide.
And I was like doing it in the name of this certain god, and she did not like that. So she slapped a happy old curse on my wrist.
And it's interesting how the crime matched so perfectly the goddess you were working through. So it was specifically Ceres, which is cool. I always love being able to hear a guide tell me their name, like in their voice, because it's coming from none of my own information. I have to look it up after to see if it's even a thing, and then it is. It's like, cool. But this was Ceres, who's a goddess of fertility and like specifically within crops. Fertility goddesses are very majorly about agriculture or birth. Some tend to be a bit of both, but this was more agriculture. So the agriculture was, this is what keeps a community alive. And in her position of power, she was hoarding some of the wealth, some of the abundance, some of the crop that kept others alive. In this past life, you were hoarding.
Not my proudest one.
It's so funny looking at your face, because just that, I guess I technically did that, sure, whatever. Of like, you, as Ash, didn't do it, but
I would never in this life.
Right. Just to be clear, Ash is a sweet human being and would not be a capitalist monster.
I'd be the one giving,
right.
Not taking.
Right. And that's the thing, is you were in a position of power where you could just be like, oh, we're out, but then you still have a whole stockpile. So there's this greed for what is supposed to be fertile abundance. You were using this goddess's fertility ability, this magic, for your own self-gain. And she cursed you. And it was so interesting because it was specifically around the wrists, where it's like we can accept things or we can give things. There was this disconnect created around your ability to give or take of like bad. And it's crazy to think how many past lives you've lived with that wound. That's something that always trips me out about past life work. It's like, this existed in how many other past lives of just all these lives you've lived of just, guess I can't use my wrist. Guess all that's cut off energetically.
I tell you guys, it was not fun.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember some of how we cleared it. I know some of what I told you. Yeah. It was difficult to clear because there's Ash now who's like, I didn't do that, which is true.
Yeah.
So it's weird to like carry that karmic weight of something you as an identity didn't do, but you still did. You know, you being the karma that you're attached to. So it's, yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild. Right. So we did a meditation, and this meditation was an extension of something I do called absolution therapy. I think I'm changing it to ecosomatic therapy. Essentially, I move someone's consciousness into something else. So this was one of the coolest meditations I've done. I kind of talked to Series to kind of know how to formulate this meditation. But essentially, I moved Ash's conscious into a field of wheat, I think it was. It might have been something else. I think I kind of left it open, but I moved her consciousness into this field of wheat. And the point of ecosomatic therapy is to have people experience changes or move things out of their body by having not their body move, not through their attachments, but through them as something else. So after I facilitated Ash feeling herself as this field of crop, Ceres was able to come in and sow some of the crop. So it was like taking back what was taken from her, which is so crazy because it's also removing the karma. It's also removing the weight of what you did. So it's, on one hand, she's taking from you, but it's taking what had you cursed in the first place.
So wild.
Yeah, so super wild that all happened. It's like, I could hear it when I was guiding you through it. The sound of her sowing the field of you.
Wow.
Your body is this field of crop, and her just taking a whole chunk of it out.
It's wild. I can tell you guys that, like, the effects of after, I can't even believe what I can do now. And, like, even just how I hold things is different. And I just feel like energy is back. And, like, I don't feel so, like, do I trust when I'm writing? Or, like, it's very, like, this mind connection to my wrist is just, like, not there anymore. It's so hard to explain unless you went through this, but...
No, that's a great explanation, you know, because, you know, speaking on just how emotions tend to store there, that's not just our give and take, it's our creativity. Yeah. It's our ability to put things out into the world. And it was so interesting hearing about your experience because, like you said, writing, using your phone, just the basic things that aren't maybe
I would hold
creation.
Things just in an awkward position because I just, like, couldn't, like, get the connection to my hand, like, correctly.
Yeah.
So weird.
And it's crazy how energy impacts that, because you have to think that's so physical. But the physical and energetic are twins.
They definitely are.
Yeah, absolutely. The way our nerves choose to work and fire. Energy. Boom. Yeah, so that's honestly one of, like, the first, I think, curse works I've done, where it's like, how do we relieve this curse? Because through me and Ash's friendship, I've kind of, like, tossed her projects of self-healing where it's like, you figure it out.
Yeah.
But with this one, she was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
it was really above what I could do.
Right, above your pay grade.
Yeah, above my pay grade for sure.
Yeah, but, you know, you were able to, like, make a lot of progress still, where how do you appease a goddess that you upset? You did all you could.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I'm fucking sorry.
Right.
Please.
Like, yo, here's an altar. I pray to you. What's up?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I even talked to her. She was just still not happy. She's like, this isn't enough. It's crazy that what was enough was her taking back what was taken. But also that's just taking the karma from you. So it's like a release, but also a take. It's...
Yeah. I can really feel the liberation from it to this day. It's wild.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Right. And this was a few months ago?
I think we did this in maybe December. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. You were still living up on the mountain.
Man, I'm happy to be down in the city again.
Yeah.
Love my chaos. Scrumptious. Yeah, so awesome that we got to clear that curse. Definitely has me all right, who else has a curse? Come on, let's take care of it. And it's cool to have that knowing of oh, I could clear this curse for sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And maybe you'll come across someone you have to clear a curse for.
It'd be wild.
Yeah, and now you'll know how. Now you'll be like, yo, I got this. Hold on. Yeah. So, while we were talking, you brought up a bit about you... this is exciting for me, because this is something I've been trying to help facilitate. And, it happens when it happens, but you have been getting in contact with your guides, which is so exciting, because... It was around the time we actually took care of this curse that Ash had. I was talking to one of her guides, and all I could pick up is it was a kind of drunk vibe, Uncle Iroh type, where some war god that just got tired of war or something like that. Human form, masculine. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And after doing more work with Ash, I was able to land on Jormungandr, which is the world serpent in Norse mythology. Which it's funny because I didn't know that name before I heard it. And if I were to read it online, I would say it Jormungandr, how it looks like it's spelled. But I heard it so crisply, cleanly as Jormungandr, where it's it kind of compresses there. But I've talked to him. You've talked to him. What's going on with that?
He actually shows up as a dragon to me.
Cool.
So I've actually only recently saw that. I've called to him to show me him just looking in the sky. I just saw in the clouds I saw this dragon form too, which was really cool.
And what kind of dragon? Serpent dragon or?
I don't even know.
I guess what I would be asking is European dragon, where it's the 4 legs and the wings, or was it more like Skyrim dragon, or serpenty dragon, snake dragon kind of vibes?
More dragony, not the serpent.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Have you gotten any cool messages from him?
He's just very giggly to me, to be honest.
Yeah, he laughed.
Yeah. That's kind of our connection, though. He just really tries to get me to not be so serious and to enjoy more of my life, and I don't know. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's A-okay. One thing I love about guides is their laugh. Yeah. Every single guide I work with, okay, there's a few guides that don't laugh. They're somber. But I can tell what guide it is based on their laugh. There's such a trademark laugh that they have where I'm that is them laughing. It's interesting how many of them laugh. I think the 2 I have not heard laugh that I have talked to are Metatron. Angels are very reverent. They're very... serious. Oh, so serious. And then it's Santa Muerte, Lady Death. Very silent, cold silent, just ominous silence. It's unbelievable. So have you only reached out to this dragon guide?
When I try to read for people, I feel I can kind of hear a difference in a tone when I get answers. Sometimes it'll just be images, or just, I don't know, a feeling of their energy, I suppose. And I don't know, just I could tell that it's not something I'm used to speaking to. So that's kind of how I've been able to okay, this feels different, and kind of go from there, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you feel you can talk to the guides?
I would say pretty good. I usually, like, if I don't understand something, I ask them, like, what is this? What do you mean? And
Yeah.
kind of just, you know, it's not always just words, and sometimes it's, like, really quiet and hard to hear what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, almost like there's something there in the way in between you two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so interesting getting into talking with guides because it's such a otherworldly thing, but also it's almost physical. Like, you can tell they're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, how here are they? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, super cool. Have you come across any guides that are icky, or like any weird entities or gods or things?
No, everybody's been really pleasant.
Cool.
Lately. So honestly, been pretty lucky. So I've gotten really great vibes from everybody that I've connected with. Not anything like, maybe some more like silent ones, like more like regal, just serious, but nothing like spooky or making me like, I don't want to talk to you.
Right. Those are out there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I'm sure they are. But...
They are, yeah. But it's interesting too, because sometimes it's not a guide that is bad. It's something that opposes one of your guides. That's something I discovered working with Metatron, is when I'm actively working with Metatron or an angel, I get this big, like, don't get near them about, like, less holy guides, maybe Solomonic guides, stuff like that. They're kind of like slap on the wrist, like, don't talk to them over there. Those are the bad kids. I'm like, just want to say hi. Yeah. So I want to do a little bit of an experiment with you, Ash.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So you've been getting better visuals. You've been really getting that better sight, better hearing, better vision, better understanding. So I'm going to give you a challenge, and we're going to take a moment. I'm going to see if you can figure it out.
Okay.
So when I look for people's guides, and I really want to connect with their guide, not through them, but with their guide, I look right above them, like right behind or above them, where their guide just floats behind and hangs out. I've seen it where it's right behind with more silent gods, but then like angels, they tend to be like floating a bit above them. Angels are pompous and dramatic. They want to be like all holier than thou. Anyways, and when you look at me, do you see anything behind me? Now look behind me.
Can I look in my mind's eye, or should I look?
Either.
Yeah. It looks like a dark figure, very tall.
Dark figure, very tall. Is he handsome?
I don't see any features. I just see like almost like a robe kind of thing. Probably like 8-9 feet tall looking.
8 or 9. Cool.
Yeah.
Sick. So much higher than I am.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's so cool to kind of get these details, because these are all language points to kind of identify them. If they're short versus tall, that tells us a lot. If they're higher or lower than us, that tells us a lot. Is it closer to hell? You know, hell in parentheses. I do the air quotes. Or closer to heaven, right? Are they more of the earth or more of the ether? So we know that this would be something more of the ether if it's higher up, right here. So let's just take a moment and see if we can get some details. So if it's an angel, look for wings, right? They're gonna have the wings, like across the board usually. If they have robes, are they dark robes or are they light robes?
It's a dark, but I feel like their body is like really bright white and like yeah.
I mean, we're holding our hands out, twinkling our fingers to the side, by the way. Okay, cool. So very radiant. Do you feel like the robes are kind of concealing them? Okay. That's also something perfect to pick up. When working with people's guides, sometimes they'll be hidden in a way. And based on how they're hidden, you can tell a lot about the guides. So with angels, when they're hidden, I notice, especially with Metatron specifically, it's like there's a throne he's normally on, and the throne is just empty, which is very symbolic. Like that's a huge symbolic.
I feel like I just saw that in my head.
boom.
Yeah.
I already know you're talking about an angel.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of like, I'm stringing you along a little.
I love this.
To
This
fill
is
in the
really
gaps.
fun.
Yeah. So it's something that's staying concealed, very light, very holy, up high. And you saw the empty throne.
Mm-hmm. It popped in my head after you said it.
Perfect. It's something I'm not working with right now, but it is actively there. So that empty throne is just a symbol that, oh, guide isn't here. That's the interesting thing. It's part of our healing journey for our guides to be like, all right, figure it out. I'm not helping you. Figure it out. You're fine. You're protected. Figure it out. And we just got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's part of our journey to find our own divinity, of course. But yeah, so we have those details. One thing I've seen with a lot of guides also is doors. A lot of doors are very symbolic, the doors between worlds, stuff like that. Sometimes there will just be a closed door behind someone. I'll even knock on the door and see if I get an answer. Sometimes I'll get this vibe from knocking on the door and it's like, okay, not opening it. But sometimes there's just nothing. It's just silent. Like, is anyone there? Sometimes I don't even want to touch the door. It's like, no. I think my favorite one, though, is when someone is working with a god that has to do with water, rain, or fertility. Like, for example, I've seen this with the god of the Nile and my old roommate, Khnum. And I've seen this with, it was the Olmec god of rain, where when someone doesn't have access to that guide yet, but they're behind something, they're behind a dam. There's like this stone dam, or sometimes it's decorated, and you'll start to see cracks forming in it as they continue on their psychic journey.
I love that.
Or their healing journey, whoever it is. And then eventually the dam breaks. And this person gets flooded with all this energy.
I feel like that's so symbolic of how much they're going to get pushed through. Like,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
A lot. Yeah.
It's thunderous. It's water. And especially with like Khnum, it's the release of the Nile River that feeds all of Egypt's crops. Like, it's a huge deal. And with other gods, it's so cool working with these guides. So fucking sick. And they have all these personalities, all these traits. Yeah.
So fun. Like, bringing fantasy to real life is like...
Right.
So fun.
It's crazy to live a life every day where it's like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
This is actually real.
I love it.
What the fuck? And, you get so far into it, I'm at a point where I forget that people don't get this. Because I live it every day. Where it's like, wait, there's still a lot of people that think none of this is real? What?
A lot of people.
Right. So I don't have that change the way I talk about it either. Yeah. I talk about it chest out. This is the way it is.
It's a really hard thing to do, and you're inspiring for that, because it's not easy to, come with you as you are and express yourself exactly as you want to be, and not be afraid of because what are they going to do? Just misunderstand you? Like, whatever.
Right. Exactly. And I had that issue until I went through a really intense parasitic possession where I was actually about to die. And after that, I had to talk about it. I'm like, I almost just physically died because of this entity that I was able to remove and bury and all this stuff. And it was like, that's as real as it fucking gets. Sorry, world, I'm talking about it freely. And that's the big thing is when, I'm happy to be the crazy person that makes other people feel not crazy.
Yeah, honestly.
There's a lot of power in that.
Truly. A lot of people, honestly, are just afraid to come out of what they've experienced into. And
right.
Just, they're like, oh my god, this is, happening to me. And, nothing, no one ever talks about this stuff. And, if we're open enough to share these things, we'll find those people. So.
Yeah, and that's why I love this podcast that I have running. It's because we see it, we just all see it differently. We're all listening. We just choose what we listen to. So by having people share these experiences, we can help other people realize, find acceptance, and like understand what they experience, what they see, and how normal and okay it is to see and experience.
And how amazing it makes life. Because I love magic, and
I wake up every day blessed, grateful that I get to live such a magical life.
It is truly beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm like springing out of bed lately because I'm like, I get to be a psychic. I'm so excited for the day.
Yeah, and it only gets weirder.
Yeah.
It only gets more and more and more and more weird. More and more weird. Oh my God.
I just keep feeling pushed to go discover more too, so.
It's exciting.
I'm like, what else can we find?
Yeah. And is there anything in specific you're super excited to kind of start stepping into?
I just want to get stronger at like having more knowledge of my readings and more of like a, knowledge base for like things to pull from.
Right. Yeah. And building that knowledge base is huge.
I want to be able to like communicate with, the gods and angels and different like entities and spirits. I love like nature, and I love to connect with like plant spirits and nature spirits, which I've also feel like I've made some strides on lately, where I'm feeling like I really hear when like we have a dialogue. And I've been just like when I go on a walk and I'm like, oh, I love this rock, like just like checking to make sure it's okay to take things.
Oh, so amazing.
Yeah.
Good on you. Yeah. Did I tell you to do that?
You have. I also was doing it before.
Cool. I'm such an advocate for that. Yeah. I have overtaken, and there is a price to pay. Don't overtake. Ask the land. Ask the rock itself. You'll know if you're overtaking. And if it's a high traffic area, it likely wants you to be very limited about what you take, because other people overtake. It's not them ruining it for everyone. It's just what you actually need. And it'll give you the coolest thing there. Yeah, I've found bones because I asked for bones on walking paths, just like right there looking pretty for me.
And I think also just like it's a good respect for like, and like relationship. Like everything is all about relationships to things. And if we're building on that sort of like give and take, I think you're just going to have they're going to want to talk to you more. They're going to want to help you. And like, because you're helping them. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful. You befriend
the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
It is really beautiful. Yeah. It's incredible. Absolutely. So, have you talked to any nature spirits?
I don't know how to discern them. I just feel like I know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Nature spirits aren't... I've had nature spirits talk to me. But my favorite thing about nature spirits that... We'll have to do a nature trip sometime soon, and we'll do this. But
practice.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's the way they sing.
That's beautiful.
It's beyond words because you hear it. But like rivers have a song.
That's crazy you bring that up. When I recently went to Portland and visited the Japanese garden. That I actually, because I was practicing my psychic abilities there, and I got to this little creek and I just heard this beautiful symphony, and I was just like, that was really cool. And it's funny you bring that up because that literally like happened to me recently.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool because with all the ones I've tried, it's such a different symphony. Like they all have their own little like jingle. It's so fucking incredible.
It is.
There's this one I learned and I wanted to keep it in my mind and I didn't record it. I remembered it for like a year, but it's specifically the Yuba River. One of my favorite rivers. It's fucking gorgeous.
Where is that?
It is near Nevada City in California. It's along the Sierra Nevadas. One of my favorite mountain range I've seen.
Really? I've never seen it.
So absolutely breathtaking and stunning.
Oh my gosh.
Lots of great energies there too. But yeah, love the songs. Mount Shasta, it's like a choir of angels singing. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so we'll have to go out sometime and...
That'd be so fun.
Commune with nature, yeah.
That's so my favorite. Nature's my solace.
God, I'm so happy I've spent so much time out there. I'm blessed to say I have. Now I'm in the city and I enjoy it. It's just I still need to get out to nature.
Yeah, still important.
Still important.
Amenities are nice, but we gotta get our...
Right. I like my conveniences,
Yeah.
but there's balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I wanted to do another fun little thing with you. So a bit ago, I was introducing you to an idea called shape-shifting. So for anyone listening, this can also be referred to as like mirror walking, just stepping out of your own reality. There's a lot of ways to understand this concept. I learned about it through the idea called shape-shifting or dream walking. And it's this one core idea of we all have our own mirror we live through, and that's our reality. And then there's this shared reality where everything that exists in the mirror is a reflection of us. And it is us as that reflection. So it kind of goes into the point where I don't know you, I know how I perceive you, right? No one actually ever knows you, they know how they perceive you. But with shape-shifting, dream walking, mirror walking, you step out of your mirror and into someone else's. And when you are in their mirror, you are them. You become them because you are in their mirror as them, with them. So instead of just being a reflection with them, you are them. And it's this super cool, incredible experience. And last time I tried it with Ash. It's funny, I try this with a lot of people. I'll try and pull them into my mirror. And in that phase, in between me pulling them in, or them not, like there's so many things that happen. So many ways the energy resists or hangs on or gets attached to their own. All this mumbo jumbo. So I want to try it again with you.
Okay.
And we're going to announce how that experience goes here on the podcast and kind of talk through it.
Okay.
You ready to try and do it again?
I know that I snapped back in. Do you have any like how do I let go fully?
That's the thing. Before, you were never fully over. Okay. We just got to get you over.
Okay.
How do you let go fully? You don't.
You don't. Okay.
How do you? You don't. Okay. You don't do. That's the funny thing.
Just don't do.
How do you let go? You don't.
I understand that. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense,
right.
Actually.
That's
the less
why
you do,
it's a
the better.
Paradox. Yes. I love the idea of letting go for that reason. It's an idea, not a thing you do. So, you ready?
Yeah.
So, how we're going to do this is I hold both of Ash's hands. I hold onto them firmly and shifting my chair a bit more. So, in a few moments, I'm just going to pull Ash, and it's this weird thing where I can like feel myself gripping on their awareness, their astral self, and I just pull them into my mirror. And this is something I can do because I can do it already, where I can hop into hers, so I can grab onto her as her and then pull her into mine is the idea. So I've shifted into yours.
Okay.
Things are interesting here.
Welcome.
So thank you. As you make your way into mine, we're going to look at some of the feelings and the way reality itself can look different. Okay. So, eyes closed, taking a nice breath in. And I'm just going to pull. Okay. That's interesting. So I can feel that I'm pulling all the way up to your shoulders. At your shoulders is where there's this resistance. Okay. Oh, that actually unpried it a bit. She adjusted and unpried it a bit. Lean your head into it, like astral. Like see if you can fall into it.
I feel like I popped out. I don't know if you...
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay. It's funny, this is actually a process. You're not going back into yours. We're just slowly stepping into mine. Wrists through, elbows through. Come on. Last bit. And... there's this like last bit of your body that's still like afraid. And
I don't know what to do.
don't do.
Okay.
Sit with the fear.
Okay.
Let the fear be. The fear stays in your mirror. Just walk through. Okay. Okay. We wound up back in yours.
Dang it.
Don't be dang-it-ing it.
I'm
It's all part of this incredible process.
Yeah.
We got you mostly out,
Mm-hmm.
but this also helps us identify what's holding on.
Okay.
It was specifically in the back.
Yeah.
There's something in our back that's like, hold on there, Missy. Don't go running off from your mirror quite yet. It almost, earlier today we were talking about some old attachments you have back there to like previous relationships and whatnot. I think it was kind of the message I got of like, hold on, not yet, is just like, there's just some stuff you have to go through first. Some fire, some hoops, maybe some, I don't know, some stuff. But we got you almost fully out there.
That was crazy.
Which was
When
cool.
last time
Yeah.
I was like, nope.
Oh, yeah. Last time it was like constantly trying, like
Yeah.
nothing, no movement. And it was interesting to feel this time because it was like step by step. Like it started to the wrist and then it like stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the elbows and then stopped at the shoulders. And then, it was a progression. I'm like, we got this. Come on. But yeah, back into my mirror. Feels way different in my mirror. Oh my goodness.
I was really
Way
excited to get there.
You'll see it one day.
Okay.
It's, I don't know. I guess it's cool. Ask Noah is my mirror.
Yeah.
But, I guess maybe to talk a bit about what I saw in yours. It felt very bubbly, a little bigger than life, a little like expansive. Like things are rapidly expanding in all directions. And that's the thing, it's in all directions of just this bubbling kind of building. And I'm sure a lot of that, it's interesting, a lot of it has to do with people's minds. For anyone who's watching that has had any experience with telepathy or like kind of stepping into people's minds, or just seeing people's energy, how some people's energy is so fast or some people's energy might be slow. How's their thoughts? Are their thoughts racing or is it kind of just, I have noticed I have a very calm mirror because my thoughts are fairly tame and calm. So when I step into other people's,
You're like, whoa.
it's very often very exciting.
Yeah.
Bubbly. There's so much motion. It's like cool, but also not bad, by the way.
Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. Not even a lot. Yours isn't a lot.
Oh.
Yours is definitely not a lot. I've met people who are like, yo, you need help. You need some earth, some grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Super cool. Super happy I got to try that with you again.
Mm-hmm.
From your experience, how did it feel taking those steps kind of out?
Like, I was, like, wanting to push myself, but I just felt like you were saying, that it just was, like, holding on still, and I didn't know how to, like, let go of that part.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, like, imagining, like, my, like, spirit just stepping out of my body, and I felt like I saw it step out.
Right. And that's the crazy thing, is stepping out of your body is different than stepping out of the mirror. So we got you out of your body, which is like astral projecting.
Yeah.
That's like the first step.
Yeah.
Then there's through the mirror.
That's crazy. Maybe I didn't know where to go. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, is you didn't have to know where to... Letting go is not doing. It's just about going. And that's the challenge.
It is challenging.
Yeah. Of where? Well, here.
Yeah.
But where is here? I don't even know where here is. I'm just here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it is.
It's really
So yeah. And yeah, that's the interesting thing, where even as we astral project, we're still there's still this interesting tether where we are still our energetic self. When we walk into another mirror, we are no longer our energetic self. Mm-hmm. We are their energetic self. So maybe you're not supposed to experience what my bullshit's like either. Maybe I got a ton of bullshit. Who knows? Maybe that's why.
I don't know.
It's for your safety. Yeah, well, anything about your psychic experience that you want to share that feels really unique to you? Like anything that you have seen, any visions, anything that's like, wow, that is something really special.
Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head right now. I know I've had really like profound ones that are just like, wow, that was magic. Actually, recently, I could talk about a dream.
Yeah,
that was really cool. So yeah, just random night, and I was just in a normal dream, but I heard this like voice come in, and it was like, you need to be using the numbers 369, and I was like, oh, okay. But like in the dream, I started like using it. I was like, I don't even remember how, but I just like knew how to use it. And then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, felt really called to like go use these numbers. And like I looked it up, and apparently like these numbers are a frequency key, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of led me to actually writing the numbers on a mirror. And I've been like doing mirror magic with it now.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was really cool because like, I don't know, I just felt like I was like, here, do this. And
yeah.
So
sounds like you opened a portal.
Yeah, that's what I looked at. I was like meditating on it too, and I was like, this literally looks like a portal. And I looked at it and I was like, it's crazy.
Well, you know that mirrors are portals too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just like, fuck it, let's make it real.
Yeah.
What mirror was it?
I bought a dinosaur mirror and I painted it.
Oh, that is fucking glorious. I love that. Oh my god.
I was just like, I'm gonna make this fucking weird.
Yeah.
And yeah. But it's really cute how I painted it.
Awesome. You'll have to send me a picture of that. You know what? I'm gonna post a picture of that to Instagram for anyone who's interested. Light, love, clarity. And also, while we're hitting this point, I'm excited to see that mirror. This is where we start kind of settling down. So I want people to know where they can find you. Just letting you guys know, this is limited time, but Ash, in her early getting psychic experience adventures, is doing appointments. And while they are open, of course, make sure if she does a good job to create a good energy exchange. But where can people find you?
I'm actually on TikTok. That's where I'm most active for the psychic stuff. I'm known as Ashes the Veil on there, 369.
Cool.
I brought the numbers on there too.
Awesome. And that'll also be in the description for anyone looking for it. Yep. And anywhere else they can find you, or anything else you want to shout out?
I don't really post too much more of that stuff like on Instagram. I kind of keep that more stuff just to myself right now. So
okay, cool. Definitely go check her out. She, especially if you're also starting your journey, this is someone you'll want to follow along with. Yeah, they are rapidly getting way more in tune, and it's been so awesome to watch. It's been really stellar to see how fast and ready you've been for it. Like, you've been putting in the work. I hope you realize how much work you've been putting in.
Appreciate it.
This is the reward.
It is. It's been
you have to put in this work to get this.
And if you guys are just starting, like, I can really help with that, you know, unsureness and some direction, and like from what I've experienced too, because we've all been newbies at one point, you know, so don't be afraid to start fresh, and you know, I'm here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on.
Well, thank you for having me. This
Absolutely.
was really, really fun.
I'll definitely need to have you on again.
I love that.
Absolutely.
See how far I get next time we're around.
Stay tuned, everyone.
I'm going to be in Claire's mirror next time, guys.
Right, you know, right. Next time, it will happen.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We don't control divinity. It'll happen when it happens. But anyways, thank you for watching. We are light. You are love. I am clarity. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.